We are now joined on the line by a political analyst, Professor Lesiba Teffo. Thank you so very much, Prof, for joining us here on SABC News.
Greetings to you and the listeners.
Firstly, what is your opinion, Prof, on all these seemingly concessions that government is making? You know, the opening of churches, allowing selling of liquor. Is there political pressure? I mean, this has been denied for some time, particularly when one is speaking about the selling of tobacco products. Is there pressure in your view?
Well, look, yes, pressure I would concede, but political pressure is something else. I think the society demands, maybe at its own risico, that everything should be opened, almost holus bolus. But there will be consequences if that is the route to go. The desire to open schools, I'm sympathetic to that with immense hesitation. But opening up churches is a very high risk, especially if you take into account that the countries up north that had a lapse and a resurgence, they attribute that in the main to church activities. And you know what happened also in Bloemfontein as a result of that church meeting. So, yes, we want to, as a people, as a nation, but at what cost? And I think the political leadership is responding to the pressure, societal pressure, perhaps also even political pressure. There could be a political price to pay if they don't respond. Yes, maybe it may be a fair comment to make. There's also political pressure from within and from without the ruling party itself.
Prof, the issue of postponements, I mean, we were expecting that we would be addressed regarding South Africa's move to level 3, but we heard Minister Jackson Mthembu saying that there would be a postponement. This is a second postponement. And, you know, the issue of postponement may seem like a small issue, but it isn't, is it? I mean, does it point to some kind of uncertainty within, government itself about the message that should then be delivered to South Africans?
Yeah. Yes, I would rather be hesitant and delay and come up with firm regulations that they can hold the test of rationality before the courts of law. It is you and me who would be all blaming them for not doing or not knowing what they are doing. If indeed they don't take time, rather take time and do it the right way. Be blamed, right, for having delayed, for having postponed, but get it right. And I'm sure they've got legal advisors. They've got people who are writing these documents. Let's give them time. And when they are ready, let them come forward. Yes, it may not look okay. It may look murky, but there could be other reasons that inform the delay. Some may speculate, well, there is conflict, difference of opinions, mistrust. Yes, I won't rule those out, especially if you look at how things get leaked out from the council itself. That X said this, Z said that. I was not part of that decision because some people would like to paint themselves good, and you can see the pressure on Kele, the pressure on Dlamini Zuma, and people would say, I don't want to risk my political capital by being seen to have been pro or anti this regulation.
Prof. Lesiba, there's been some criticism about the fact that we have the president addressing us, but that, he hasn't opened the floor to questions, which is similar to what perhaps we would have seen in the United States, where President Donald Trump would sort of deliver his speech and then, of course, open up to the media to take questions. There is criticism about the fact that perhaps the president is worried about the sort of questions that will be given to him after he's made a sort of declaration. For example, with the opening of churches, I'm sure a lot of reporters and journalists would have liked to pose some very pertinent questions to the president, but that time is not given. What is your view on the issue of the president not opening the floor up to questions? And in fact,
I don't think on this one he's doing well. Certainly not. You see, people have got questions, and I think he started well. Be out there and explain yourself. right? Like, for instance, the issue of the cigarettes and so on. People want to individualize it and reduce it to one specific individual. Come out as head of state and say, this is a collective decision and this is how we are moving. Take the questions and even volunteer to clarify before the nation at that point if other journalists don't ask it. And at least protect and defend your ministers by saying, once we move out, we own up. It is our decision. And whatever else you may think about us, it is in your interest. And that's my position. We may feel inconvenienced, and we are inconvenienced, but it's in our interest that they are doing what they are doing. And I think that is a message that he must keep pronouncing. I had somebody in that saying to me, well, the president, when he concluded on Monday, he said, it is now in your hands, meaning I'm no longer with you. It is up to you. I said, no, well, I'm not sure that is the spirit in which I would like it to be understood, right? And I've seen also some jokes that say, you want to drink, hambani lo puza. Those are not the sentiments I'm in favor of, because they seem to suggest that we are thinking that we are being punished, while in actual we are being led in a direction that is in our own interest.
You know, Prof, sometimes I see, leadership the same way I would see parenting, and I wonder what is your view on the fact that, there's been so much talk about the opening up of certain sectors and fights and all of these kind of things. Do you think that, the president is sitting back almost like a parent and saying, you want to go burn, you want to go play with fire, go ahead and do so? Do you not agree with that sort of a strategy?
I'm missing the question there.
In terms of the fact that it seems that the president is kind of going, well, if you'd like to go play with fire, you've been fighting about having certain things open, then go ahead and play with fire and see what's out there. Do you not see it as the president perhaps playing a sort of, parental role of saying, I have tried to keep you, indoors and asked you to stay indoors and you've been fighting about it, so go ahead and do so, and then you'll see the repercussions. Do you not see that sort of leadership strategy, or is that you don't think that's a good leadership strategy at all?
Well, I thought I alluded to that, although invoking the examples of jokes, that at the end of the day, it is in our interest to accept that whatever inconvenience we suffer as a result of the regulations, right, let's live to say tomorrow it was worthwhile. But I would not agree with even if you were to take that position, that would be abdicating his responsibility as a leader. At one stage, leadership demands taking unpopular decisions. Yeah. At one stage, leadership calls for benevolent dictators. If you think and you are convinced, right, you may not look like Donald Trump, like many do, but at the end of the day, he can be decisive. And that type of leadership that at one stage I find wanting. Say it as the president and head of state that, yes, we are not a secular state, for example. We are not. And if you feel this is not the right time to open the churches, let them shout at the top of their voices. And I'm saying this as a practicing Catholic, but I think it wasn't opportune to concede that we should open up the churches, given the examples prevalent across the globe.
All right. Thank you so much for that, and some very sobering views there from political analyst Professor Lesiba Teffo.